Welcome to Piano Video Lessons. I'm Lisa, and today we're working on Grade 1 Piano Technical Exercises and Etudes. This is Unit 1 of Year 2. Today we're going to be working on the major scales for right hand and left hand. So you can see they're on page 3 of the ebook. If you'd like to get a copy of the ebook, just click the info card to come on over to pianovideolessons.com, where you can find all of the printables and the complete lesson index. So major scales for grade 1 are played 2 octaves. That means up twice from the root note, up 1 octave, up 2 octaves, and they're played hands separately. So I'm going to demonstrate the C major scale. And you can see that the hand has to move quite a bit during this scale. One of the tricks to keeping it steady and even is to think about your hand position. So first of all, before you play, let's prepare your hand. What I recommend doing is just letting your arms hang beside you, down by your legs. Just let your arms hang naturally, and then have a look at what your hands are doing. Your hands are in neutral, relaxed position. And your wrist is also in neutral, relaxed position. This is your playing mechanism, the way you want to begin playing anything on the piano, really, in this position. From there, we have access to all different ranges of motion, but we need to start in neutral position to avoid strain. So then we also notice that we're moving the hand up the piano, and we need to make sure that we're not just moving the fingers, but that we're moving the entire hand and arm up and down as we go. It's moving right from the shoulder. And the other thing we're going to notice is that the thumb has lots of times where it has to cross under the hand. So it's important to think about that action as not isolated to the thumb. You see here I'm isolating the thumb. Now, the thumb does need to start coming under, but the hand has to help. And what I'm doing with that is, let's just imagine I'm playing here, I'm bringing my whole arm along. My elbow is coming out as I bring my thumb under. Not a ton, not terribly pronounced, but enough that I can rotate a little bit on the tip of this finger just to enable that thumb under in a much more comfortable way. There are times when we have to reach under really rapidly, but this isn't one of them. So you should practice that thumb under action and pay attention that your wrist and your elbow are participating in this action. So from the first part of the scale, we're going to play C, D, E, and thumb comes under to F. So if you've played some 1 octave scales before, you're probably used to this action. The next one maybe is new for you. So because we're going 2 octaves, let's play all the way to B and then talk about it. So we're going to have C, D, E, thumb under. Now we're going to bring our hand over to place these next notes, and I'm in a neutral wrist position again. Now I'm going to play until B, until finger 4. Now this next action is the same. My thumb is going to come under, and I'm going to help by moving my wrist out of the way, bringing my arm and elbow out. So then I have this. So this is probably a good action for you to practice, bringing that thumb all the way up to C and bringing your wrist and elbow along with your hand. So after this, the reason we want a thumb is so that we can start again. So we started with our thumb on this C. We're going to start with our thumb on this C. So here we go, playing up from here. Now the same thing happens. We need F under with your thumb, and here we're reaching the top. So instead of bringing our thumb under another time, we're just going to play our 5. And coming back down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to roll over. This is a little bit different of an action. This is a bit of a rotation. So we see our thumb is here. Thumbs play on their side edge, not on the flat, squishy part. So when we're here, the action is a rollover. It's kind of like opening and closing a doorknob. It's a twisting action. So we play F, roll our 3 over, and then coming down. And now we need to roll our 4 over. Same action, just roll over, aiming with your 4 to land on B. And then thumb on F, rolling over to E. So the fingering for the C major scale for right hand is play until 3, so 1, 2, 3, And then at 3, we're going to roll the thumb under, or tuck the thumb under, and then we're going to play 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to roll under again, tuck our thumb under to C, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to finish at the top here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then since it's the top, we're not going to keep playing, we'll play our 5. If we wanted to proceed up another octave, we would just start with 1, 2, 3 again and keep repeating the pattern. This fingering pattern is your standard fingering for right hand scales. You're going to see this fingering used a lot. It's going to be in 2 out of the 3 scales that we play today and in all of the minors that we're going to learn in grade 1. So get used to this fingering pattern. Here's a little exercise you can do to help with this pattern, and I'm going to call it chunking. And the way we chunk the scales is by playing these groups all at once. So we're going to play 1, 2, and 3 all as one big group. Now we're going to move to the next note, which is F, and play 1, 2, 3, 4, moving to C, 1, 2, 3, moving to F, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to just play our 5 on C, and we're going to come back down. 4, 3, 4, 3. It doesn't really sound like a scale, but it really helps you target the placement for each of those fingering groups. And for key of C, we only have white keys, so this makes it seem a little bit strange we're doing it, but it'll make sense when we move into G major and F major, which require us to play some black keys. So let's go now to G major. We're going to play it with the right hand, and when we played the key of C, C major has no sharps or flats. When we play the key of G major, we're going to have just F sharp. And there's a lesson, we've learned how to build scales here on Piano Video Lessons. If you want to click the info card, you can come on over to find out the formula for building major scales. So now we're going to start on G, and we're going to play the scale like this. And that's the speed and ease that you want to be able to play it with. You can see it's written out in notation here. I've included accidentals on the F sharps, and that means to play them up and down using, I'm just going to point something out here. I used a notation software for this, and this F sharp doesn't have a sharp written on it. And the reason is because it's in the same measure as this previous F sharp. And if you remember the rules for sharps, if an accidental is placed in a measure, it affects every note of that pitch until a bar line. So this note here is also still F sharp. And even though it doesn't have the accidental included on the page, the other F sharps are all shown. So if you want to go ahead and mark that one in, that might help you remember to play it if you're using the sheet. So now let's go ahead and talk about the fingering pattern for this G major scale. You can start on any G that's comfortable for you. I'm just starting here. It's written starting on treble G. I've marked, I've marked middle C with a little happy smile here, so you can see where that is. So here I'm starting on G, and I'm going to try the same fingering that I just used. So 1, 2, 3, tuck under. 1, 2, 3. Here's my F sharp. I'm going to play that with my 4, and then I start the scale again by bringing my thumb under to G, G, A, B, and then C. Here we go. We made it all the way up, and now we're coming back down. We're going to play 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring our 3 over, purple section, 3, 2, 1. Bring our 4 over, little magenta section up here, and we're using 4 on F sharp, and then 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So we used the same fingering that we played for the C major scale while we played this G major scale. Now, let's talk about chunking this one. I'll do it up here. So the first chunk we're going to play is the 1, 2, 3 chunk starting on G. Now we're going to move to the next note, which is C, and I'm going to put my thumb here. Now you notice I've got that F sharp, so that's really helping me to identify that my F sharp is being played here. Then 1, 2, 3, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then top note, G. Coming back down, 4 notes with the sharp, 3 notes, B, A, G, 4 notes, F sharp, E, D, C, and then 3 notes. All right, so let's play that scale one more time. I'll start here. Notice the notes are nice and steady and even. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Nice and steady. All right, the last scale that we need to play in grade 1, last major scale, is the F major scale, and this scale uses B flat. I'm sure you know that even if you've only played F pentascales, you know that we have to have that one black key in the key of F major. So when we play this scale, if we try to use this fingering that we've set out at the beginning, it's not going to feel very comfortable, because after 3, if we try to bring our thumb under and we have to land on B flat, well, we have to get really far into this black zone in order to make that comfortable, and then play 1, 2, 3, 4, and then onto this thumb again. It just doesn't make sense. So we use a different fingering pattern for the F major scale, and only for the F major scale. So for the right hand of F major, we're going to start with the 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. That's because of the B flat. So right here, when we play this 4, it's going to help us play our B flat. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to tuck our thumb under to C. So can you guess what our next turn under is going to happen after? You probably did guess. It's going to happen after finger 3. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then we start the whole thing again. So we're going to have our thumb on F, and there's our B flat. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's B flat. And then 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to play our top note with the next finger if we're done, if we're only playing 2 octaves, which we are. So in this case, we're going to play finger 4. And if you look at this whole list of numbers, you'll notice that one of the fingers on my hand does not get to play. So I'll start here. I've got 1, 2, 3, B flat, 1, 2, 3, F, 2, 3, B flat, 1, 2, 3, top note, F. Coming back down, I'm just going to play F again, and coming down now, I'm going to roll over and land on that B flat. And then I'm going to roll over and land on E, roll over, land on B flat. So you might want to practice those turns. This one is easier than when we played it starting on in C major, because that black key kind of gets us up and out of the way for that thumb under. But then coming down, it's a little different, because we've come down from here. We have to aim with our 4 to land on the black key. And some of you might find that you slip off the black keys. That's kind of normal for beginning students or intermediate beginning students. But you want to just make sure that your arm, if we follow that rule of the hand follows the fingers, or the hand directs the fingers, and the arm is participating, you'll find that if you get your weight balance there, you won't have as much tipping off. So let's go ahead and chunk the F major scale. You'll see some extra notes down here because I forgot to do it in my first pass, but I'm going to do it now. So we're going to start off with those 4 notes with the B flat on your thumb, on your finger 4, and then you're going to move to C. Then you're going to go to F with B flat on 4, and then 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to come back down, finger 4, finger 3, finger 4. So you can go ahead and practice that. And just that helps to solidify the notes in your mind that you're going to play for that scale. Okay, so those are the 3 right hand scales, and there was one that used unique fingering, the only one. Now let's go to the left hand scales, uses the same notes. So we're going to start here on C major, and I'm going to play it for you once. And I've used a nice relaxed hand position, and I've tried to keep my notes steady and even, and you'll notice I started on finger 5. So when we play this scale, we begin on finger 5, it's our starting note, and then we're going to play 4, 3, 2, 1, because those are the next fingers, and we're going to come over with 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to play 4, 3, 2, 1 again. And we're going to finish with a 3, 2, 1 pattern. Now you'll probably notice, if you look up here, that this is exactly the same thing written in reverse. And that makes sense because our hands are mirror images of each other, and we're playing notes that are all white keys, so we're using just mirror image fingering. So here we go, starting with 5 on the tonic, on the starting note, and then playing 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we'll cross, we'll roll over to our 3, 2, 1, rolling over, 4, 3, 2, 1, rolling over, 3, 2, 1. Coming back down, 1, 2, 3, tuck under, 1, 2, 3, 4, rolling under, 1, 2, 3, under again, and finish with 5. So I'm being careful to make sure that my wrist and my arm are relaxed but following my fingers. I don't want to keep it stiff because that will cause fingers to stiffen and create tension in the wrist. You want to keep things loose and relaxed but relatively level in the wrist and relatively smooth with the arm and elbow following the hand. If you target this part here, you want everything to kind of come along with whatever's happening in the center part of your hand. Okay, so let's go ahead and chunk the left hand C scale. So we'll start with C and then play 4. Now 3 goes to A, 4 goes to D, and 3 on A. You'll notice that these 3 notes are the same as these 3 notes. So here I've got CBA, and then I've got these 4, and then I've got CBA, and then I've got the same 4, the G down to D, and then finger 5 on C. So practice your left hand C scale until you can play it steadily and evenly, and then let's go ahead and look at the G major scale. As we know, G major uses F sharp, so when we play that through, we'll make sure we have F sharp. And which finger am I playing the F sharp with? Correct. We're playing it with the finger 2 in the purple group. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2. Now in this 3 group, there we have our F sharp. And now when we chunk the scale, we're going to watch for that one. We're going to watch for that one F sharp. So we'll play the starting note and a chunk with an F sharp right in the middle, and a chunk and a chunk. This chunk has thumb on D. This one has thumb on G with a black key on 2, and then thumb on D again, and back to G. And last of all, we have the F major left hand scale. Now, when we played it with the right hand, we had this awkwardness of needing to change the fingering, but when we look at the left hand, this fingering is not a problem because we're going to play the black key on finger 2 in this magenta pink group. So here we go. B flat, 3, 2, F. B flat, 3, 2, F. Coming back down, F, coming down, C, B flat. Coming down, C, B flat, and down to 5. So let's go ahead and chunk that with our left hand, playing F, and then those 4 notes, B flat here on 2. Now move your 3 to D, and now we're back to thumb on the F, that's our tonic note. Now 4 on G, make sure you have the B flat, 3 moves to D. Coming back down to F, down to C, and the final note. So those are all of the major scales that you need to play for the grade 1 major scale component of the technical exercises. If you look at the list, you'll see that we have the complete technical is major scales, minor scales, contrary motion scale, chromatic scale, and then we also have solid and broken triads for the major and minor keys. So those are all coming up. We'll do one more lesson on technical requirements on chords before we go ahead and play our first etude, which is Etude in C by Czerny. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for joining me. All right, I'm going to play all 6 of those scales through for you now.